Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the topic, the pursuit of a healthier lifestyle. And before doing that, I would just like to quickly introduce myself to you. My name is Divya, and before moving to Prague in 2019, I was working with one of the big fours in the finance industry. I always had this inclination towards fitness, but I never imagined myself having a career in this field. And it was only during this lockdown last year that I finished my studies to become a nutrition and fitness coach. Currently, I've helped over 50 people to transform their lives by inculcating in them sustainable habits for a healthy and fit life. So today I'm going to do the same by sharing some of my experiences and also sharing some tips to help you begin your fitness journey because this is not just my work, this is also my passion. Uh, so this is the overview of today's workshop. We are going to discuss about the tips for starting your fitness journey. I'm not going to talk about how to eat healthy just for the sake of fat loss or for the sake of weight gain, but for making sure that you are in your best possible health. We are going to go through a meal planning detailed example, learn a lot about calorie balance. Then we're going to take a 5 minutes break and then talk about exercise and followed by Q&A. I hope you guys are all excited. So the first thing, health and fitness. Do you think it's the same thing? So according to the World Health Organization, health is a state of physical, social, and mental well-being, whereas fitness is your general health and well-being, but it is also your ability to play a certain sport and your ability to do your daily activities. So a person can be healthy, but they might not be fit. So definitely these two are different things. Now looking at this, you will realize this is a popular logo of a very popular company, Nike. So the advice of just do it is actually pretty legit. Action derives motivation, but we assume motivation is required for action. So if you're someone who's waiting for motivation, you could be waiting for a long time. So just take that first step and start your fitness journey. Now let's begin with talking about some tips how you can begin your fitness journey. These are some of the screenshots that I have shared with my through my own Instagram account. And the first point here is focus on sustainability. So there are a lot of diets floating in the market these days, like the low carb diet, the paleo diet, the ketogenic diet. But you have to ask this question to yourself. Is this something that you can do for your entire life? If the answer is no, then definitely it is not sustainable for you. Then the second thing important is start with small goals. Don't say that you want to exclude ice cream from your diet. Instead, say that I want to include more vegetables in my lunch or in my dinner. This is more specific. So try to make smarter goals. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Staying hydrated and sleeping well. So sometimes we tend to overlook these basic things. So it is very important for us to stay hydrated. You have to drink 3 to 4 liters of water every day and to flush out the toxins from your body. And it is also important for you to sleep at least for 8 hours every day to help you perform the best the next day. The next point is strength training, and by far my most favorite point. So it is often associated with weight training, and you perform certain exercises with some sort of resistance, and that helps you improve your strength and your endurance levels. And the last point is staying consistent. So all the points that I've just discussed, you have to start doing them, and then you have to stay consistent with them, and you will definitely see some good changes in your fitness journey. So I also applied the same things for my own transformation. And as you can see, I lost 13 kgs and improved my lifestyle. So strength training, something that I already discussed, that was a game changer for me. And then healthy foods. So I'm not saying that I didn't eat pizza or didn't indulge in ice creams. I ate them, but there was a kind of moderation. I followed the rule of 80% healthy foods and 20% not as healthy foods, which was sustainable for me. So the third thing is tracking the calories. So I will talk about this in detail later. And the next point is NEAT. So when you're more fidgety, when you're moving a lot in your house, when you're cooking your own food, when you're doing your own laundry. All this is adding up to your activity levels. So this is nothing but the NEAT, the non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So I built upon these habits and stayed consistent. So why are we eating healthy foods? Why do we categorize foods as good or bad? Because truth be told, the biggest factor in diet intake is calories. If you're someone who has to eat 2000 calories, but you are eating 4000 calories through healthy foods, then not even healthy foods are going to help you, because calories are important. And as I said, I will get into detail on this topic a little later. So coming back to the coming to the next point, the kind of foods you eat. The second factor of diet and health is the kind of foods you eat. And when you eat healthy, you tend to lower the calories in a healthy way without even trying. And third point, find out what's good for you. Most people focus on what's bad, like I should avoid this box of cookie, or I should avoid having this cold drink. But what's more important is knowing what to eat. And I'm going to help you do that. So these are the macronutrients. The healthy eating can be broken down into 3 categories. The first one is proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. So every gram of protein has 4 kcals. Every gram of carbohydrates has 4 kcals. And every gram of fat has 9 kcals. There's also a fourth macronutrient that I have not mentioned here, which is alcohol. So alcohol is again as dense as fat, and it also has 7 kcals per gram. So minimally processed animal products, including the kind of dairy products, you can have those in moderation if you want, and they are a really good source of protein. Apart from the animal products, there are a variety of food through which you can get your protein content, and that is through soya, through cottage cheese, through yogurt, curd, etc. Now coming to carbohydrates, all vegetables, all fruits, all grains, everything is good. No fruit is superior to another one. No vegetable is superior than any other. Okay, so instead of juices, try to eat more of fruits. They fill you up more. And if you will try to have cakes or cookies or pizzas, they also have carbohydrates in it, but then you will still feel hungry because they're not, and they're also not loaded with vitamins or minerals, and they might have preservatives as well. So choose your carbohydrate wisely. Now coming to fats, there's something called as trans fats, which is found in the fast food. So you don't have to rely on those. All you must be taking care of is healthy dietary fiber, which you can get through avocados, all the kinds of nuts, olive oils, and so on. So why am I asking you to avoid the trans fats? They are not toxic or anything, but we definitely can choose better amount of fat, better sources of fats. One very important thing is to know how to read a nutrition label. Here I have shared a nutrition label of Gouda cheese. So as you can see that one slice of Gouda cheese has 20 grams and the total calories that it is giving you is 70. So in the 20 grams serving size of Gouda cheese, you have fats of 5 grams. You have cholesterol 20 mg. So cholesterol is a form of lipid or a fat. It is needed to support the brain health and nervous system functionality as well. Then the next is sodium. You're getting 120 milligram sodium from this. So sodium is a macro mineral, and a balanced diet should provide all the essential minerals. So the current recommended dietary allowance for sodium is 1500 milligram per day. And the most basic source of it is the salt that we put in our food on an everyday basis. Okay, and now look at the protein. Protein is 5 grams. So 5 grams of protein is present in 20 grams of cheese. So that's how you read a nutrition label. So if you're trying to eat healthy, and if you want to, if you are the one who goes to the grocery store to buy the foods for yourself, you must definitely know how to read a nutrition label. Okay, another very important topic is how to make your own meal plan. So there are 3 things. The first thing is BMR, the basal metabolic rate. It is the rate of energy consumption while a human body is at rest. so as to carry on all the vital functions. For example, even when you are sleeping, your heart is pumping some blood, right, to perform the basic functions of your body. In that case also, there is some sort of energy that is being spent by your body. So that is counted under the BMR. The next thing is TDEE. TDEE is the sum of BMR plus activity levels plus non-activity levels. So BMR, as we have just discussed, and activity levels is nothing but the exercise that you do every day, and non-activity levels is the need that I just spoke about, the laundry that you do for yourself, the food that you cook for yourself, the all day walking within the house, and it all comes under need. And the third thing is you have to identify a goal. So your goal could be anything. It could be weight loss, weight gain, or muscle gain. So you have to identify these three things, and then you must go forward with the next step, which is calculating your BMR. So you can do that through an online calculator. So I've shared a link here. Through this link, you can calculate your BMR. So what? So for example, the age, the gender, height, weight. If you put all these things and hit on calculate, you will get the BMR. So now this BMR is just an approximation, and it doesn't really mean that it is your actual BMR, because it is just the calculated BMR. And BMR depends upon a lot of other factors like your sleep levels, your stress levels, your past eating habits, and if you have any lifestyle disorder, that also affects your BMR. And on the right side of this slide, as you can see, this is the Harris-Benedict equation. So the online calculator is using the same equation, so you can do it both ways. You can also calculate your BMR through these formulas that are shared on the right side of the slide, or you can use the online calculator. The next thing is to calculate your TDE. So once you have the BMR in your hand, just see that what kind of a person you are. If you have a sedentary lifestyle, for example, a little or no exercise, then your TDE is 1599. If you exercise 1 or 3 times per week, then your TDE is 1833. So here are again the activity ratios that I've shared. So if you will multiply 1333 in our case, it is a BMR with 1.2, you will get the same value, 1599. So I'm showing you both the methods. One is through the activity factors and the another one is through the online calculator. Let's get into a detailed example. For example, there's a female whose age is 30 years, height is 167 centimeters, weight is 67 kgs, and she exercises for 1 or 2 times per week. If you calculate her BMR, it would come around 1,333 calories per day. If you calculate her TDEE, it would come to be 1,833 calories per day. So what's the starting point for her? It depends on her goal. If her goal is weight gain, then she has to eat more than 1,833 calories per day. If her goal is to maintain weight, she can eat approximately 1,833 calories per day. And if her goal is weight loss, she can eat somewhere between 1,333 to 1,833 calories per day. So this concept that I just told you is nothing but the calorie balance. If you see the calories in and the calories out, if it is equal, then in that case, your weight will be maintained. In case where calories out is more than the calories in, it is negative calorie balance. And in this case, you will tend to lose weight. And the third one is weight gain, where calories in are more than calories out. And this is called as a positive caloric balance stage. So how can you meal prep for yourself? There are a lot of apps available, but the most popular one is the MyFitnessPal app. So I've shared a screenshot of it here, as you can see. So there are heads like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. You can just go to the website, MyFitnessPal app or their website, and input all the food that you want to have, in the breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. And accordingly, you can adjust your calories. So this is one way of calculating your overall calories for the day. But actually, these calculators are not very accurate. So Instead of double checking through Google, I would suggest you to cross-check those details through the NUT tab, also known as the Nutrient Tables for use in Australia. It's a website and it is a trustworthy one. So it has all the items listed down in it. So you can compare the food items here with the MyFitnessPal app and then finally can decide your overall calories. So now let's dive into the exercise part of staying fit. Many of us are still not comfortable getting back to the gym and would want to exercise at home because of the pandemic. So now I'm going to talk about some form of exercises that can be done even at the gym and at home as well. So the first one is strength training. So I've already talked about this before. It is some kind of weight training or resistance training that you do. And it helps you basically, it has a lot of benefits, but the most important benefit is that it helps you gain strength and it helps you preserve your muscle mass. So so as I said, it helps you preserve your muscle mass, improves metabolism. So have you ever wondered why our parents or elderly people in general, they start to lose muscle with their age? It is because of the low lean body muscle mass, which also means low strength, low bone mass density, and low aerobic capacity. So this condition is known as sarcopenia. And we don't want this to happen to ourselves. So definitely we must indulge in strength training to preserve our muscle mass. So there are a lot of people who love to do cardio, but let me tell you, my friends, that there is a lot of difference between cardio and strength training. Strength training helps you burn calories, helps you build muscles, build strength, increase bone density, increase your metabolism. And cardio only helps you to burn your calories. It doesn't help you with any of the rest. Another form of exercise is yoga. In yoga, you're basically letting your spirit control your mind. With respect to physical health, it is valid for curative and preventive measures. So I've shared two of my favorite YouTubers, Yoga with Adriene and Yogis Anonymous. These two are really great YouTubers, and I have subscribed to their channel to learn free yoga from them. It's really great if someone else also wants to learn yoga. The next is the high intensity training. So the benefit of HIIT includes burning calories, losing weight, building muscles. It helps you improve your oxygen and blood flow in the body. So examples are like high knees, mountain climbers, jumping jacks. These are really good exercises, and these can be done as warm-up before your strength training session. The next thing, a very underrated thing, is walking. It comes with a lot of benefits. So you might have heard people telling you that we must all walk 10,000 steps every day. It is because the concept that I talked about before, it helps with increasing the NEAT, the non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So our activity levels are actually increased if we walk a lot, and 10,000 is nothing but just a threshold that we want to work around. So if you're not indulging in any other form of exercise, it is recommended that you walk for at least 45 to 60 minutes every single day. Okay. So as I shared my fitness journey with you, and there was one thing that I talked about, which was tracking my calories or tracking my food. So these are some of these are 6 common mistakes that generally people do while tracking their foods. So a lot of my clients also have joined this workshop, so it would be really easy for you guys to relate. So the first one is the wrong nutrition information. So apps often have the wrong values, so you have to double check the nutrition label. I spoke about the NUT tab, so use that for the best accuracy. Or the MyFitnessPal, I also spoke about that. So just try to double check your information and don't rely on any particular app. The second thing is entering the macros later. So you have to track your meals before or while you are prepping them up. You won't remember them later. So it's not a good idea to do it later. The third point is eyeballing instead of weighing. It's always difficult to estimate portion sizes. So I suggest you weigh your food when you can and save the eyeballing for when you don't have the scale. For example, if you're on a vacation, at that time you won't have a weighing a food weighing scale. So at that time, you can definitely eyeball, but apart from those scenarios, you can definitely accurately calculate your portion sizes. So the next point is trying to hit your macros accurately. So the aim here is to hit the macros, but you don't have to stress about it and be perfect at it all the time. If you're within the 5 to 10% range of macro values, trust me, you're doing a good job at it. Okay, so another mistake a lot of people do is not tracking oils or sauces. So have you ever asked for that extra mayonnaise or for that extra ketchup at McDonald's? Yeah, so that is actually not tracking your oils or sauces. Even if you are having a burger at home or having a sandwich at home and you're using a tomato ketchup with it, not tracking the ketchup is going to affect your total calorie intake. So yeah, so whatever is left, the food that is left out on your spoon, you have to track that food as well. The last point is mixing up raw and cooked macro information. So it doesn't matter if you weigh the cooked or the raw food. What matters is that you use the right macro values. And then now we are moving towards the end of our presentation. And the last is the general tips that I want to share with you for staying active. Researchers have shown that there are various advantages of exercising for more than 150 minutes per week. And so if you do that, you are definitely going to benefit from it. And it is also advisable to indulge in some sort of sport. It could be anything. And it will help you improve your fitness levels for sure. It will help you with your speed, with your flexibility, for your muscular power, for your cardiorespiratory endurance, and so on. So other tips would be to take stairs, to take stairs instead of taking the elevators. Be more active. Even when you're attending the meetings, try to take small breaks in between. Do simple stretches at your work table. So all these things are definitely going to help you stay active. Now, some more sources of inspiration for you. Renaissance Periodization is one YouTube channel that shares a lot of scientifically proven information. And in a world where there is so much information available at our fingertips, this channel is really a trusted source. So I would suggest you to subscribe to this channel. And the next one is FitChase. So I work with FitChase. So they also share really valuable information. You can check them out on Instagram as well. However, if you want to connect with me, here are the links for my Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and I'm also going to launch a website soon with the name of www.recentlytravel.com. And if you want to enroll me as a fitness coach, I'm also sharing that link with you all. So that's it from my end. And I would like to thank the Integration Center Praha for giving me this opportunity to come and organize my event here. It is actually a really great honor for me to being an Indian and conducting a workshop at a foreign country. So yeah, that's really cool. And thank you so much everyone for joining in the workshop. I really hope there is some sort of takeaway for you. And if you wish to connect with me, here are all the links right in front of you.
Thank you so much, Divya. It was my pleasure, really. It's been a pleasure to cooperate with you and to get to know you. I really hope this is not the last time we are cooperating. And yeah. Thank you all participants for being with us tonight. Thank you all. Have a good night and hopefully see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Good night, everyone.